Finalist number 15 is Zainab Hussein. Zainab, you may begin whenever you are ready.
Thank you. Salam. Before I start my presentation, I would like to thank the GYC organization for yet another incredible opportunity of achievement. And I would also like to give a very special thanks to everyone who has helped me come this far in the Global Youth Challenge. So to those of you who are watching, thank you. Now, close your eyes and imagine. Imagine that you are observing our wonderful world and you turn to where you expect to see the Amazon rainforest, but instead you see the Amazon desert. You turn again to where you now expect to see the Great Barrier Reef, but instead you see the Great Burial Reef. Not believing your eyes, you turn a third time to look for the aurora reflecting polar ice caps, but instead you see nothing. Now open your eyes up again. Ladies and gentlemen, you have just looked through the lens of the future generations. Hello, my name is Zainab Hussein and I'm a 9th grader at Ahl Bayt Islamic School. I re-entered the Global Youth Challenge because I had learned immensely from last year's experience, and this year I want to further expand my horizons and challenge myself once more. Concerning climate change effects on worldwide populations, I chose to talk about how climate change is specifically affecting animal populations around the globe. I chose this topic because I believe between a balance between nature and humanity. And while humankind has spent millennia trying to attain that balance, nature had it from the beginning, but eventually lost it because of our actions. And we now owe it back to nature. I agree with Sir David Attenborough, English broadcaster, writer, and naturalist, when he states that nature once determined how we survive. Now we determine how nature survives. While researching about how climate change affects the natural world, I looked further into what climate change is in itself. Simply put, climate change refers to a long-term transference in temperature and weather patterns. This phenomenon was deemed natural. However, in light of recent years, human activities have become the main contributor to it, and a dangerous one at that. Nevertheless, Sir David Attenborough's extensive research has not only revealed the issue from its very root, but prepared the seeds of solution to be planted. Climate change is a pandemic, millennia in the making, one that cannot be stopped by masks nor vaccines. So may I turn your attention to a suggestion made by Prince EA, which states that if a farmer wants to diagnose a sick tree, he doesn't look at the branches, but instead the roots. So rather than turning to the branches of government, we should turn to the root of the problem. And the root of this problem is us and our actions towards nature. Because of fossil fuels, extreme agricultural expansion due to excessive food production, and the acidification of oceans and wilderness destruction, the natural world has been choked, burnt, poisoned, and destroyed. Now that we have diagnosed the sick tree, let us treat it. We now turn back to the roots, and the root of this ever-needed solution is us and our coming actions towards nature. By adopting renewable energy, efficient food consumption and production, a treaty on the use of international waters, and proper wilderness restoration, humankind can relieve, cure, heal, and rebuild the natural world. The flowers that will bloom from these seeds of solution are reducing mass emissions and slowing ocean acidification, saving up land space, agricultural land space, and providing humankind with healthier and more affordable food production. Also, restoring the ocean's natural health and fish supply for universal benefit and allowing wilderness to flourish. You can help by getting out there and taking action. Go online on ourplanet.com, sign up and donate or volunteer. Sir David Attenborough said, "If working apart, we are a force powerful enough to destabilize our planet, then surely working together, we are powerful enough to save it." Thank you.
Thank you, Zainab. For your first question, Professor Liet Vasseur.
Thank you for your beautiful speech. I really like it. I agree that we can all get together. It will be a lot better to move ahead. My question is about, you mentioned about agriculture and excessive production. Is it really excessive production are probably more the way that we do it in terms of all the impacts from all the chemicals, the way that we probably expand it, but not the right way. What do you think?
First of all, thank you for your awesome question, Professor Liette. So to clarify, you're asking whether excessive production is the issue or the methods of production is the issue.
But do we really have excessive production? Because we still have, almost 2 billion people who are without food in some cases.
Yes, you're right. There are a lot of people that don't have food today. But when it comes to production versus the way of production, it's interlinked. One way is interlinked. The way of production would tell if it's essential or not. I do believe that we do have excessive production because there are countries that are excessively expanding agricultural land. This is a fact. So even though there are countries that are living in poverty that don't have food, it's because the other countries have double or triple the normal food that they're supposed to have. So I do believe in that. And when it comes to the ways of production, like the methods that we use on agricultural land, there are right and wrong ways. There are chemicals that are produced like nitrogen. We use a lot of nitrogen and it's excessively polluting our planet. We waste a lot of water. We don't have an essential way of watering our plants. Of course, these ways do affect climate change. And I think that it's interlinked. They're both equally focused upon. And both of them should be concerned. Both of them are concerning. We should fix our methods towards how we're using our agricultural land, and we should equalize the proportions of our excessive food production.
Perfect. And I think when you talk about excessive production, I think in some way it's distribution that is the big problem. That we, especially in the global north, we tend to have a lot more than we really need. That's also a problem too. Yeah, thank you very much.
Also, it's like meat production. We overhunt, we overfish, things like that. Yeah, thank you.
Exactly. Thank you.
And for your second question, I call upon Professor Chuiwan Miao.
Okay, Zainab, from your YouTube video, I know you had already attended GYC 2022, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so I also know the topic in GYC 2022 is about AI.
Yes.
Right. So do you have any, do you ever think, can we use the method of AI to contribute our actions in fighting climate change?
Thank you for that amazing question, Mr. Professor. So your question is, when battling against climate change, can we implement AI?
Yeah.
Right? Okay.
Yes.
So for this, I'd like to go back to whenever people talk about, okay, hey, let's change to renewables. Okay, hey, let's implement this. Let's clean our oceans. Let's start these factories instead of these ones. People go right down to the economy. And in order to stabilize that, in order to increase people's stability and morale, we have to show that we're providing new jobs for these certain people that are going to lose their jobs because they were working with fossil fuels. Now they're working with windmills. So people are worried about losing their jobs in the economy wise. So I feel like since countries have already planned, like for example, Australia, for the past 30 years, 97% of Australia's top 10 exported goods have been dominated by fossil fuels, and they can change that. They want to change that. But the thing is that when they're changing from fossil fuels to renewables, they have this plan. Once they're changing their top 10 exports, changing into clean exports, they can make $89 billion out of it. They can support 395,000 jobs for people. So since this is already a solution for people who are worried about their jobs, I personally wouldn't try implementing AI, as AI is already taking over human jobs. So maybe it would keep the economy. Maybe there would be an easy way to keep the economy, but then you have all these jobless people. And of course, there are people that need to build the AI, but I feel like for one step at a time, we should have more people working together, because my idea revolves around connecting the people together rather than advancing technology in itself. Was that adequate?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you both.